Good afternoon. This is Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with Nutrien Ag Solutions. I want to give a brief update here on the dust storm and severe weather situation that we're watching unfolding across the Central Plains and then portions of the Midwest as we head through the evening into the overnight. As expected, very strong winds, in some cases gusting over 100 miles per hour across portions of Colorado, sweeping into western Kansas right now over drought-stricken soil. We can take a look at the visible satellite picture here at about 1:30 p.m. You see the strong west-southwesterly winds sweeping through the dry slot here on this storm system. The area of low pressure located right here. We've got the dry line kind of pushing to the east. That's where thunderstorms are going to be initiating over the next 1 to 2 hours. But right now, via satellite from space, we could see that blowing dust caught in the strong winds there. And of course, at the ground, the dust is very obvious. This is on Twitter right now from Scott County in western Kansas. Some areas here having zero visibility. Also just in, we've got a tornado watch now across portions of northeastern Kansas, eastern Nebraska that expands into northwestern Missouri, much of western and central Iowa, and then southern portions of Minnesota. Again, you can see the boundary here where we expect thunderstorms to erupt over the next 1 to 2 hours. We're expecting numerous severe storms then to quickly race off to the northeast. Storm motions again 60 to 70 miles per hour, just like they were with Friday's devastating severe weather outbreak across portions of the Midwest and the Mid-South. We'll take a look at the all hazards map here. Very busy. We've got the severe weather risk right here across portions of the Central Plains into the Midwest. And then we've got red flag warnings. We've got high wind warnings. We've got wind advisories extending all the way into portions of the eastern Corn Belt. And then on the north side there, we're dealing with some wintry weather impacts. The severe weather outlook, the day one outlook, a moderate risk from the Omaha area northeast toward Minneapolis with a slight risk that expands all the way down to Kansas City and then toward northern portions of Wisconsin. We're expecting that corridor of stronger storms to race from southwest to northeast as we head through the evening. How are we doing this? Well, here's a look at the winds at 850 millibars. Again, an area of high pressure over the Atlantic coast. Clockwise flow around that, our very compact area of low pressure across the Central Plains lifting into the Midwest. We've got a strong fetch here, a deep fetch all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. That's helped advect an unseasonably warm and an unseasonably humid air mass northward into the Midwest, such that we've got the ingredients here, or the fuel, to break out some severe storms. Combine that with the dynamics of this very intense compact area of low pressure, and we're going to have enough to sustain these storms in severe fashion. And again, with the changing of winds with height, that's what gives us that rotation aspect there and adds in the potential for some tornadoes as we head through the evening into the overnight. We'll take a look here at the high resolution rapid refresh, the simulated radar reflectivity. We're here at about 1 o'clock, 2 p.m. Again, we expect these thunderstorms to initiate along this boundary near Omaha down toward portions of eastern Kansas, down toward Lawrence, maybe as far south as Wichita. These storms then race off to the north and to the east. We'll have to see how far south the severe weather risk here actually extends. I think it's probably going to be cut off around Interstate 70 across portions of central and eastern Missouri. I don't think the severe weather risk is going to make it into the I-70 corridor in Illinois, but I think the corridor here is going to follow the area of low pressure from, again, Omaha up toward Minneapolis, where those strongest storms are. That's where we have the combination of the upper level support and the unseasonably mild and unseasonably humid air mass there. The key thing here, watch how fast these storms move. Again, this is not exactly how it's going to happen. These high resolution models are great, but they're not exact. But assuming this is right here, thunderstorms develop mid-afternoon, 4 p.m. near Omaha, and then by 8 p.m. we're talking about these storms knocking on the door there in Minneapolis, and then by 10, 11 o'clock, they're racing across the Wisconsin border with the UP of Michigan. So extremely fast storm motions. Again, what's helping to fuel all of this? Well, here's a plot showing us convective available potential energy. This is the amount of CAPE, or fuel, that we have in the atmosphere, and we're talking about getting the nose of instability here all the way into northern Iowa already at 2 p.m. And we can take this forward over the next several hours. You see the model breaking out the thunderstorms there across the Iowa and Nebraska border with plenty of instability that eventually lifts into southern Minnesota. Just an unprecedented storm system here, bringing this kind of fuel that far north in the second week of December. 500 millibars. Here's the shortwave punching into western Kansas right now. That's going to continue to lift up to the north. Very strong upper level winds overspreading eastern Nebraska right now. That's helping to provide the lift there to get some thunderstorms developed. We can take this down a notch to 850 millibars. Now we're looking at the low level jet. And again, you see the very strong southwesterly flow. The edge of the deep moist air mass here making it to Omaha early this afternoon. That too will continue to lift off to the north. Again, the fuel for the thunderstorms and the upper level support combine there to create this very volatile air mass. And again, that is why the reason for the moderate risk there. We're talking about the potential for a few tornadoes, fast moving once again, potentially a couple of strong tornadoes. And with the very fast storm motion, there is then that potential for long track tornadoes as well. We also have to keep in mind we're talking about strong winds. There's the potential for these storms to produce wind gusts of 75 to 100 miles per hour. Of course, that's going to create just as much damage as a brief, weak spin-up tornado would do. So the entire region here, from Omaha to Minneapolis, under the gun. The fast-moving storm motions, that also means that this risk is going to be coming up on you very quickly. So again, even though the storms may be 60, 80 miles off to your southwest, that means you have an hour or less to get prepared and head to a sturdy shelter. Finally, as we just pull up a map of Nutrien Ag Solutions retail locations, a lot of vulnerable folks here today that are going to be dealing with those wind gusts. The synoptic, and what I mean by that is non-thunderstorm wind gust, continuing from western Kansas up toward the Omaha, Kansas City area, and then eventually lifting across the rest of Iowa here as we head through the early overnight. And then that risk for severe storms begins to develop right here, right near the Omaha area. We've got quite a few branches here on the Iowa-Nebraska border. And then as we talk about northern Iowa, if I'm concerned about tornadoes, and one or two intense tornadoes here, I think the risk is going to be highest across maybe northwest and north central Iowa, very near the I-35 corridor here. So heads up as we head through the late evening into the early overnight, the potential for fast-moving storms producing tornadoes as we head into the after dark hours. Very dangerous situation, whether it's the strong winds, the isolated tornadoes, or the gusty winds that are going to be following this storm system on the backside of these storms. Again, the synoptic non-thunderstorm wind gusts posing the risks of widespread power outages, semi-trailers being flipped, other high-profile vehicles, damage to infrastructure, tree damage, roofing damage. Expect some of these expansive metal, farm outbuildings. Those could sustain some damage here. So really a rough go of it as we head through the next 12 hours across portions of the Central Plains into the Midwest. Severe weather and a widespread dust storm and high wind event as we head through the rest of the day.